Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Remembering Coach and the Assessment of Women and Marginalized Group Situation under the Taliban. Somin Hazareddin Kulturi Uhdistus is honored to co-host the commemoration ceremony alongside Amnesty International Finland. We privileged to have distinguished keynote speaker and experienced panelists joining us for today's important event. I would like to begin my speech by sharing the dreams from one of the Koch's victims. Exactly on this day, the 1st of October, Marzia's uncle revealed her diary. The page showed her dreams and to-do list. Marzia dreamed of meeting Elif Shafak, riding a bike, visiting the Eiffel Tower in Paris, playing guitar, walking in the park at night, and eating pizza at an Italian restaurant. The dreams are so simple, even should not be a dream in a normal situation. But for a girl who lives under Taliban rule, it is a dream to ride a bike. Those dreams were tragically cut short when Marzia, along with over 53 Hazara teenagers, was brutally killed in a suicide attack at College Learning Center in Kabul on September 30, 2022. Over 110 others, mostly young girls, were injured in this horrific attack. The dreams of hundreds of young students never came true and buried in the mass graveyard in the western part of Kabul. It is important to recognize that the College Learning Center was not targeted just because it was an education class, but because the students attending the practice university exam were from the Hazara community. This was not an isolated and the only attack against the Hazaras. On May 18, 2021, two back-to-back explosions at Sayyid al-Shuhada High School killed 85 girls and injured 147 others. The list of attacks on the Hazara community is long and the number of deaths and injuries are high. It takes hours if I explain each one of them here. I just point out that the schools, learning centers, places of worship, sport clubs, peaceful demonstration, public transportation, wedding hall, and even maternity hospital have all been targeted. Just recently, 15 Hazara passengers from Daikundi province were killed and 6 others injured while they took off their car and shot it between Daikundi and Ghor provinces. The Hazara community has endured relentless and systematic persecution based on their identity and religious beliefs. In the late 19th century, 60% of the Hazara indigenous population was either enslaved or killed or displaced. The Taliban massacre of Hazaras in Mazar-e Sharif in 1998 stands is a manifestation of their genocidal intent, in which about 2,000 Hazaras were brutally murdered within days. This historical and ongoing persecution of Hazaras bears all elements described in Article 2 of the United Nations Genocide Convention of 1948. During the last 2 decades of international presence in Afghanistan, despite war and instability, there were legal and constitutional opportunities for all the Afghanistan citizens, especially for the girls to exercise their basic human right, to pursue their education, and for the women to go to work. But since the Taliban took over on August 15, 2021, following the Doha Agreement, the dark era of Afghanistan returned as a tragic reality. It reminded the people of Afghanistan, especially women and marginalized groups, of the days of public weapon, execution, massacre, and severe restriction on girls' education, as well as the prohibition of women from participating in public life. For years, Taliban lobbyists claimed the group had changed, promoting this idea to the international community and the Western countries. However, since regaining power, the Taliban have made it clear they remain unchanged, contributing to enforce the same radical ideology that opposed women's rights, girls' education, and stands against the Afghanistan ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity. They are actively persecuting Afghanistan. They are actively persecuting and marginalizing vulnerable communities, targeting the members of former Afghanistan National Security and Defense Forces, former government employees, and those who work with international community, displacing forcefully the population to alter the demographic in central, northern, northeastern, and western region of Afghanistan. The Taliban have issued more than 70 restrictive decrees against the women and imposed a policy of gender apartheid. Their recent moral law classified women's voice as women's privacy in order to silencing them from public life. Women's and human rights organizations rightly argue that the Taliban's action against women meet the criteria for gender apartheid. In conclusion, on behalf of the Somin Hazareddin Kulturi Distus, I urge human rights organizations, the UN Security Council, the Human Rights Council, and the international community and the International Criminal Court to take the situation of women and marginalized groups in Afghanistan seriously and formally recognize the Hazara genocide and the gender apartheid in Afghanistan. Urging the Finland government and civil society and human rights organizations to support the victims of systematic attack in Afghanistan and to provide them protection and opportunity for pursuing their dreams. Thank you very much.